Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Terrence Howard was on the PBD podcast talking about his profession, acting. He said, it's a short lifespan, The host asked why. He said, because a lot of guys, they gotta take drugs. They be on all kinds of stuff, trying to keep up to the demands of others. It's a lot of rejection in that game, right? He also said that a lot of these guys, they compromise their manhood. He said, man, look, you can do a lot of things, and I'm paraphrasing, you can do a lot of things, but once you compromise your manhood, you can't come back from that. I ain't got no problem with that. And it's a whole lot of them out there that do that every day. Compromise their manhood, sound like a bunch of girls, gossiping all day long, talking about other dudes, just talking about other dudes all day long, preoccupied. Talk about other dudes more than they talk about women. Yeah, man. He said, once you compromise your manhood, you can't come back from that. He also, talked about Justin Bieber. It's like, man, that dude, he got to do a lot of things and he's depressed. He really ain't in a good space because, he had to, he's had to kiss the ring and some other things. Yeah. He didn't say he had to kiss the ring and other things, but that's what he was talking about. Anyway, fam, he also talked about women who do certain things to get on. Say, yeah, you got your Emmy, you got your Grammy, you got all of this, you got your award and everything, you got your money, you got your films, but you don't have the soul that you came into the game with. Ooh-wee, man. That's cold-blooded right there. What does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? Some people are all right with losing their soul. You could argue that some people never had it in the first place. Anyway, he also talked about how Puffy invited him to his house for weeks. And he finally went under the guise that he was supposed to be teaching Puffy how to act. Terrence like, man, I go over there, every time I go over there, he just sitting around looking at me. And, he's like, man, when we gonna get started? So he said that, finally Puffy started asking him, hey man, I want to check out your music. So he started come over there and play some music for him. And he still just be sitting around doing nothing. So Terrence said his assistant finally told him, he said, man, I think he wants to F you. Yeah. Damn. Terrence said that was it. He dipped after that because, he's not sacrificing or compromising his manhood for nobody. Oh yeah, fam. I ain't got no problem with that. That's a double clap because there's so many people out there that do it every day. You ever hear certain people that say, would you do it for $1 million? What about 5 million? They just keep going up till they hit it, till they think they get to a number that you'll accept. And a lot of times you gotta listen to people. First of all, the guy who will accept, we already know what he'll do, right? But it's the guy that act like he won't accept, but you keep on going up, and the more you go up, the more he start thinking on it harder. See, when you already know, when you stuck and you got your convictions, you already know certain things you just not gonna do. Man, it don't matter what a person say. It don't matter what they say, what they do. You already know how you get down, how you rock. So it ain't a number that would make you compromise your manhood. It ain't a number that would make you compromise your womanhood. It ain't a number that would make you compromise your integrity. But some people, they'll do it for, a toy in the Cracker Jack box. Terrence said, I don't bend over. But here's the part that's really gonna run them hot. He said, I don't play gay roles and I don't kiss men. Yeah. Hater don't like that. Yeah. And they're gonna try to make you feel guilty, right? They try to make you feel guilty, like you're an actor. If you're just acting, he's insecure and nah, just certain things I'm not gonna do. They done got it so cold, fam, if you don't agree with it, something's wrong with you. Well, you must have been touched. That's what they like to say. Yeah, they're not gonna like that. Let me tell y'all something about Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is out of this world. He's an alien. Like, the average person cannot sit down and have a conversation with Terrence Howard. He's so much more advanced than the average person. You just be sitting there like, in fact, the average person would just get up and walk out of the room instead of trying to sit and listen and learn something. Terrence sometimes remind me of Chuck D. Chuck D has always been well advanced, like way, just light years ahead of almost anybody in the room, right? He's one of those type. And so sometimes when Chuck D is talking to me, especially in the past when I wasn't, just really as sharp as I am now, Chuck D would be saying certain things and I'd be like, I hear you. I'm only listening because it's Chuck and I respect him. So I know he's saying something. I know he knows what he's talking about, but I just can't wrap my head around it because I'm just not there mentally, Chuck was always light years ahead of everybody. If you go back and listen to his music, you can tell, like some of the stuff that he would say and the way that he put words, damn Chuck D, man. Y'all talk all that noise about all your top 5 and all this, all you want. But Chuck D, man, oh yeah, he's up there. He's up there for real. That's the real deal right there. But back to Terrence. Terrence Howard is a national treasure. And right now, man, he's standing on business. I'm talking about he's standing on business for real. And they're going to try to do him dirty. So if you really as real as you say you are, and you respect people who are forthcoming, who are honest, and love the people for real, we're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, make sure you support that man, whether he is posting something on his website or whether he's doing something independent with other entities. Make sure you support Terrence Howard because it ain't but a few left. He is the last of a dying breed. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.